I'm Laurie. Welcome to
Sumo Kaboom, where we talk about all things sumo.
That's right. We're going to be talking about two different things today. Leslie, you're talking about Onosato and his climb to Ozeki ship, yes?
Not really.
Oh, what are you talking about today?
Just about him and in the news lately.
And I am going to be telling you the story of the Hairiest Yokozuna. And I know that seems like a strange thing to be talking about, but it comes from direct experience that we had at the Basho in September. I'm going to tell you the story about it, but hang on, because it is an interesting story that connects our past with where we're headed in the future.
Oh, okay.
How general can that be? It's exciting, though.
I like it.
Oh, I do have a poem. This is from Sarah. Well, first of all, she sent us a great bingo card that I did share with the world that had guys with little cowboy hats on and stuff like that. It's a
we had some good cards.
Very great card that she made. And she wrote, thinking of the Wild West, where tumbleweeds sway, I created a sumo bingo card for a playful display. Rikishi and cowboy hats, the silliest sight around. Aki Basho and OK Corral sounded a bit similar, I found. I cheered on my favorites, Ura, Onosato, Nishikigi, and Wakataka Kage, Tobizaru, Atami Fuji, Tamawashi, and Hoshoryu, too. Oh, to hear Kimura, Konosuke's Hakkyoi, and alas, Takakeisho and Kimuro, Shonosuke have now hung up their spurs. Boy, that was a lot to get out.
That was a lot. That's as hard as saying
stanza.
Irish wristwatch.
Irish wristwatch.
It's impossible.
You saw that one on Instagram,
yeah,
too.
And ever since I've been like, Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch. Try to say Irish wristwatch.
It is a hard one.
It's hard.
Final stanza. Though I didn't win bingo, that's perfectly fine with me. The joy was in cheering and seeing the Rikishi lead. Now I await November's Basho with excitement in my heart. We'll have a new Ozeki round these parts.
Oh, I love it. It has a Western feel to it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Just to remind everybody, we are having a raffle. And
everybody loves a good raffle.
Everybody loves a raffle. And
Always.
It always seems to be like around, we're going to do the drawing on Halloween, but like growing up, our school used to have a big Halloween thing.
Did they?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? This was like
Halloween thing?
Like a Halloween party, like at school. It was like a Halloween festival bazaar.
So bring out the crepe banner thingy, stringer things.
I think it's called a crepe banner stringy thingy. Anyway.
So string those up in your home. It's party time here at Sumo Kaboom.
Yeah, because there's always a raffle for prizes around this time of year. And I don't know why, but again, I think we mentioned it last.
That's what they're called.
Streamers. Last week we talked about
streamers
getting all this merch. We have now found ourselves with an abundance of merch. And you know what?
We need to share.
There's only so much merch that actually our houses can handle. And trust us, we still love merch. Don't get us wrong. We love merch.
I'm not parting with my most favorite. I'm not parting with my Hakuho Tagada.
No. You have a Hakuho Tagada?
Yes.
Then what do I have?
You have Ura.
Oh, that's true. That's Ura. I have Ura. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Pretty good.
We have some things that we bought, that we brought back to raffle off for our listeners, just for funsies. And the cost goes back to helping us with essentially our shipping costs. So it's just like a raffle to send stuff to you. And
for more shipping costs. It's just like keeping the ball rolling, essentially. It's like a Hawaiian lei. It just continues.
But it's true. It's like so many people send us things and it's so delightful. And now we have that spirit within us where we're like, well, let's send some of our stuff on to other people who may not have access to this stuff or just want some cool stuff. So we have a Endo Tagada in there. We have got, we got towels. We got t-shirts. We have fans.
We got tea bags. Free tuna.
Right. A free tuna packet that I picked up on day 2 of the tournament. Anyway, so
we have stickers and cards and it just like slap wrist thingies. We have buttons. There's so much fun stuff in there, y'all.
Yeah, and
I kind of don't want to let it go.
I know,
I'm
but
trying.
We have to.
Pens.
It's now official. But each ticket is $3. So just donate to our Coffee KO-FI account. You can see it under our social media has a link, as well as our sumokaboom.com. And any multiple $30. Yeah, any multiple of 3, that's how many tickets.
$33.
Exactly. Then you get 11 tickets. That's how it works. And we'll do the drawing on Halloween. So that
we'll
makes your
offer some
Halloween.
apples. We'll throw some streamers across the room.
And if you're on the other side of the world, then we'll do it kind of like that's November 1st. So
it'll be in the middle of the night.
The middle of the night on November 1st. And anybody who's donated to us already, who is a monthly subscriber,
you're in.
We will put in for how many tickets we'll put that into the system. You are in. So get on that action. So woo! Somebody sent us a really funny, I think it was Kay, one of our listeners, sent us a really hilarious translation of something. It said something about Asanoyama jerking off, but what they meant was he was working out and doing the jerk and what do they call it? The
something and jerk.
Something and jerk.
The something and jerky, salmon jerky, beef jerky.
No. What's
the twist, the shift and jerk?
Yeah,
and
what is that called in the gym?
Off.
What is that called in the gym?
Jerking off.
No.
It's called jerking off in the gym.
No,
I'm sure. They're like, I'm going to go to the gym and jerk off.
Well, never mind. Anyway, but it was a fun translation. What is that called? Like pull and jerk? What is it called?
It's just getting worse. It probably is called a pull and jerk.
No, it's not. I know. Frustrating me. What is it called? Something
I don't know.
Jerk in the gym. The clean and jerk.
Oh, that's so much better.
That is what it's called. It's the definition is it's a composite of two weightlifting movements. You lift it up halfway and then you lift up all the way. Anyway, the translation said it was Asanoyama cannot do lower leg stuff, but he's working out at the gym.
And jerking off.
And then sometimes, Google sends us glorious things like that. Let's do some news. Tamawashi has a cyst, an inflammatory cyst on the back of his left thigh, and it's like the size of a fist. It's huge.
Oh,
and it required surgery. So he's not on the tour. There's a Jungyo happening now, and our friend Angie is actually there sending us video, which is awesome.
Of the cyst?
No, thank God. Of the tour.
Angie, if you can get video of the cyst.
I mean, he's in the hospital, so let's hope they're not doing it on the side of the doyo, but he has to go to the hospital like twice a week, I imagine, to have
thing drained.
Yes. So he had to undergo surgery. So our Iron Man hopefully will be back in November. I don't know what you've seen, but I'm sure you've seen the first day of work for Takakeisho, Aoyama, and Miyogaru. The pictures on the Sumo Kyokai of them in the blue jackets. And I had so many mixed feelings about it because, well, it looks like, when you dress toddlers up for church and they don't know how to wear clothes, little suits. This is how these pictures look to me. They're so uncomfortable. These men should be mostly naked all the time. And all of a sudden they have all these clothes on and their faces say I've shown up for work in my blue jacket, but I don't know how to move in this thing. And Miyogaru is especially bad. But anyway, Takakeisho showed up for his first day of work in his blue jacket. That led me, of course, to thinking, I'm sure he has a mawashi on under that suit, under that outfit. But he also was pictured in a black suit at the Ozeki promotion party for Onosato, I think, which has got to feel awful to have to go to that. And he looked kind of miserable. Everybody's like, he looks sharp in a suit. And I'm like, yes, but his soul is dead. Takakeisho was the only one that I was like, he really does not belong in civilian clothes ever. It just doesn't fit. Put him in a mawashi forever. And even if he's not fighting, it's very strange to me.
I've always thought, I don't know why there is not a mixed feelings emoji. It's needed in moments like that where you see that image of Takakeisho walking into work in the blue outfit.
Well, they have
you're happy for them.
The hands up, the I don't know, but that's as close as you.
It's like you're happy for them, sad, thrilled they're going to a next stage, but so sad to see them go, and you really hope they'll feel better. There just needs to be a whole long series of emojis.
Yeah, you could use that also for people getting married to they're getting married, but then also you don't like the spouse,
so happy,
happy for you.
End of an era.
Yeah,
and the cannonball. The cannonball in a suit is just a weird thing.
Yeah, and I really do feel like
underneath needs to be in warrior garb for the rest of his life. What makes it so much harder for him specifically is he's been very clear. If the injury wasn't there, he would still be wrestling.
Right.
It's
his
just
heart's
that it's
still there.
Yeah, body just can no longer do it. So there's definitely just a sense of, I wish this frame of mine could have done more. And I know all the wrestlers say that, but he's so young. He's so young.
Yeah.
And he's gone out before he wanted to.
I know.
Well, here's my question. What did they go in to do? Like, what was their first day? Because it appears as though they just said, put on your new outfit.
And take some pictures?
Yeah, and take some pictures.
It was probably a fitting.
And just stand there awkwardly against the wall and allow us to take your picture and then share it with the world.
I have a feeling they had to go in and learn actually what their job is going to be for the tour. I have a feeling they're probably been given the lowdown on what their job is going to be. It's probably real boring. They're like, you're going to sit at this table and you're just going to like tell people they can't come this way. Like any first day of learning a new job, they have to do it too. That's like the weirdest thing about this sport.
Yeah, the reality is probably sinking in for them.
Yeah, they're like, I was just fighting and then, and now
just an Ozeki. I had all the privileges and here I am.
Yeah, here I am. But they all kind of had a little bit of a pained expression on their faces. So let's hope.
Or maybe it's just relief and we just have never seen that.
Yeah, they may not know what
face.
to do because they don't have to show up to practice.
God, I don't have to do this anymore.
And it did kind of look like Takakeisho was thinner in a suit.
The blue jacket is very thinning.
Yeah, maybe.
All of them look thinner.
That's
I
true.
thought that about every single one of them. I was like, either they've all lost 50 pounds or that is a slimming jacket. And I think it's the cut of the jacket.
It may be. Maybe it's intentional.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, don't know if you know this, but Koto Shoho's brother will be joining Juryo ranks, which makes them the 22nd pair throughout history of brothers that are both in the top two divisions.
His name is?
Well, it was formerly Koto Tekake, which does not roll off the tongue, and now it's Koto Eho.
Not Koto Echo.
No, Koto Eho. Right?
I'm sorry.
Not Koto A-hole.
That's really where my mouth went.
It does feel like that.
Eho.
Koto Eho. Koto Eho.
That's really hard.
Or maybe it's just going to be Koto A-hole.
Koto Eho.
Koto A-hole.
That's what my mouth
Koto
wants.
Shoho are now going to be brothers up in Juryo and Makuuchi.
Koto Eho. Maybe if I just say it that way. Koto Eho. Not put the L on the end of it.
Speaking of more Kotos, Koto Shogiku was given approval to start up his new official stable. So now there are 45 stables. It's just growing, y'all. He is taking 4 Jonidan wrestlers with him, all with Koto names. So we'll be having more Koto babies in the future.
Maybe we will end up with a Koto A-hole.
Maybe. Koto Eho and Koto. This is our newest. It'll probably be like a new kid from America. They'll be like, "You're Koto Eho." That is now my new favorite made-up wrestler name. Koto Eho. Anyway, so there's that. About Onosato, he also in this past week, has been doing all kinds of parades, and there was a special train, and this train is called the Echigo Tokimeki Railway, and it features him and 3 other sumo wrestlers from Marine High School. Now I was like, this is a new high school I got to learn, but there are 4 wrestlers from Marine High School. And he said that they wrapped the whole train in his image. It's a picture of him with his top knot, not the oicho, not the ginkgo leaf thing. Mm-hmm. So they were talking about that the railway has plans to change out the wrapping when he gets his ginkgo leaf up top.
In the image, he just has the fallen down ponytail.
Yes.
Not the ginkgo leaf.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. And so they have plans to change that when he grows that in. They will rewrap the train.
When he grows up, goes through adolescence.
When he has his little ginkgo leaf on the top, they will rewrap it to give him the correct hairstyle.
Okay.
And then if he becomes Yokozuna, which they were telling him, if you become Yokozuna, we will also wrap the train.
Okay.
So this is the whole reason why I told you this, is because He says it's a strange feeling to ride a train with my picture on it.
Imagine.
So he also said this perfect sentence, which is just such sumo wrestler speak. He said, "I want to aim higher and do my best to help this train evolve."
Yeah, I like that. To help the train evolve.
Meaning rewrapping every time he has a new hairstyle or hopefully a new rank, which would be Yokozuna one day. But he's doing it for us and he's doing it for this train.
Yeah. That's why I train. I train every day to help evolve trains and cars. I do. To help them evolve. I train.
I was like, is this at the end of like his really tired week of like...
Probably.
Does it make sense to just be like, I'm going to work my hardest to make a train evolve? But anyway, it gave me a giggle. So it brings me all to this episode this week, which we have a new Shin Ozeki. He's 2 days after he held the big old championship Emperor's Cup. He was indeed promoted to Ozeki. He was at the Nishonoseki stable. They all came, not all, there's 2 guys who come who are former wrestlers that they're like, you have been deemed now an Ozeki. And I watched the video, there's maybe 30 seconds of, they're like, you are now an Ozeki. And they're sitting on the ground and he's like, yes, this is my statement. And then they bow and that is it. And then it was like a 8-minute video. And so that was good to see, but the 8 minutes of trying to just get everyone seated and where they're going to sit and
move
where
the
microphones, move the pillows is also just like, it just made it very real. I was like, oh, we see this all the time. And it's really 30 seconds of action and then moving pillows to bring in the whole set piece for the whole the double fish pick.
Which was such a great image.
Yes, it was a great image. He has such a good round face.
A very expressive face. A wonderfully expressive face.
He does. He really does. He says about this, I'm just so happy. Right now, I don't want to think about sumo. I just want to enjoy eating fish and rice. And actually, that was in his hometown afterwards. So I lied. Let me go back.
Did he say something about evolving trains?
Well, yeah. So he went home from a very early age. He left his parents' house and went to go study sumo in like basically a sumo dormitory, like a sumo school. And
like a boarding school.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a sumo boarding school. So this was really his home. So that's where he went. And that's where they had the parades, or that's where he went on a talk show. That's where they revealed the train that he's going to work really hard to evolve. And then, yeah, I think either then he went back and then he was officially deemed the Ozeki, and then he got the picture on everybody's back and then it's official. And in that ceremony, he did say they all have a special speech they make when they become, not a speech, they have one sentence. But Onosato's was, I am who I am because of this place. No, sorry.
I was going to say he went full on Popeye. I love it.
That's what he said about his second home. I am who I am because of this place. It's a place that built my foundation. It's a really good to be able to come back here after graduating. But about his Ozeki speech, this was the sentence he said. He goes, two ways you can translate it. I will devote myself to the way of sumo, aiming to be the one and only wrestler. Or I will strive to be the one and only wrestler and devote myself to the way of sumo. I think I like the second one better. So he got that, I think, from maybe his junior high or high school coach, I think, that kind of idea, because he didn't know what he was going to say. But I think Nishonoseki Oyakata, remarked that those are indeed really true words. He was proud of him because that does describe him. He really is a unique wrestler from their point of view. To me, I'm like, he's big, he's strong, he's great. But whatever they see with him, they see truly a one and only wrestler. So that's what he's setting forth to do and become, is a one and only kind of once in a lifetime kind of wrestler. So, and to be honest, he made his debut up to this rank in 9 tournaments. So he has really, really gotten to this rank quick and remarkable. I mean, it's a remarkable kind of journey. The aim is for him to become a Yokozuna. So if he, in the next 2 years or something like that, 12 tournaments, if he does it anytime before that, he will be the biggest record of all time, quickest rise to that rank. And that's 2 years is a long time as an Ozeki, as long as he stays healthy to become, hopefully, a Yokozuna. But there's a lot of pressure on him. Everyone's already like, Yokozuna, Yokozuna, Yokozuna. And I guess that we'll see how he does. Other guys, I'm sure, have been asked that same thing, other Ozekis in the past. But I don't know if you crumble underneath that. One thing about the sumo school that he grew up in, they had no bicycles, no cell phones. Also, oddly said,
kind of sounds like our upbringing.
Yeah, except for no games. So that maybe that means video games or
probably
games. I was like, they're going to stop them from playing dominoes?
No, I bet it's video games.
It was a very strict environment. And so
no Switch.
No
Nintendo.
No Nintendo Switch, right. But he says he was blessed with good friends and had a lot of fun. So I sense maybe from that upbringing, he is very focused and doesn't have the distractions maybe other wrestlers have kind of grown up with.
It's going to be really interesting to see how he does in the pressure cooker environment of Ozeki, because we've seen some people get this rank and really stay here for many years and do very well and be unable to go that extra step further. We've seen people step into Ozeki's ship and then sort of use it as just like one stepping stone to the top level. Right. And we've also seen people fade under the pressure of like, you must win, you must put up double digits, you must. It's tough. So it'll be really interesting to see what he does here.
I expect him to do well.
What I love is the hopefully years of rivalry between Kotozakura, Onosato, Hoshoryu in that mix, who's a spicy, just has very different kind of sumo. Like all of their sumo has different flavor, and I love the idea of them getting better together.
Yeah. Another fun perk about becoming an Ozeki is that you get a bump in salary. So he will be making 2.5 million yen. And that is second only to
a month.
It's about 17.5 a year for dollars.
17.5 per month.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's with the dollar being pretty strong.
I would take it.
That's 700,000 more than Sekiwake or Komusubi. So
yeah.
Yokozuna gets 3 million.
You know he is surrounded by fathers who are like, would you like to meet my daughter?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Although they're probably right now, they're like, we'll start courting some soon, but let's keep him on track with his Ozeki. Let's get this under control. And then, when he's clearly at that next level, we'll find him a bride. He also gets to ride first class when he's traveling abroad. Yeah. And you can drive to the underground parking lot when you arrive at the venue. And, and you can now have purple for your kesha mawashi. So all the perks anybody would want.
Yeah, that Takakeisho used to have. Okay, we're going to take a hard left. I'm going to take you back to Les and I walking through the Kokugikan. I think this was on the first day. We were walking through the halls of the Kokugikan, like checking out everything. It's a circular arena, so we're making our way all the way around, and we come across this wall of Yokozuna. Just pictures of each Yokozuna. So it starts in the modern age, there's Hakuho, and as you walk down the wall, it goes Asashio and Kakuryu and Kinosato, back, Busashimaru, Wakanohana, Takanohana, back, all black and white photos, until we get to this one man who looks completely different than everyone else.
Yes.
Does not look like the rest. A man with very, very hairy eyebrows. Like, think Santa Claus type eyebrows, but jet black, and a very, very hairy chest. You remember that centerfold of Burt Reynolds? A famous centerfold.
I did a Hugo in the same, my dog. I did the same photo shoot for him.
Yeah, it's a spread of this very hairy Burt Reynolds, like laying on his side.
Very naked.
And he's holding, I believe it's a magazine or something in front of his very important
it's his
part.
hand.
Oh, it's his hand.
And he's furry. He's on a fur blanket, and there's a fire behind him.
Yes.
Like a roaring warm fire. It's just all hair.
So this kind
all
of
70s
hair,
body hair.
Yes, this kind of hair, this kind of Burt Reynolds, Tom Selleck vibe is what this Yokozuna had in this photo. And you don't really realize it until you see a photo like that. You go, oh, none of these other Yokozunas had much hair. Like, what's going on here? And who is this very fuzzy man? So I was curious. I don't know anything about this guy, and I just thought I have to find out who this man is. And that is what led me down the rabbit hole this week. So I went, what could I do? All I could do was go to Wikipedia, go to the list of Yokozuna, and just start pulling up pictures, one after another.
Furball Yokozuna.
Because you can't really look up Furball Yokozuna, right? That doesn't really work.
Well, you'd have to find the translation of hirsute.
Yes. But what I did find is he is the 46th Yokozuna. On his Wikipedia page, it says he is known for his eyebrows and his chest hair.
His eyebrows, I was scared. I don't know how anyone let him out of the house with these eyebrows. It was Groucho Marx level. I mean,
and we're going to share, took a video of it because it's so amazing. I'm going to share this video with y'all so you know how
you make eyebrows that bushy.
Right?
I mean, truthfully, think comical and then add another 50% on comical.
Yeah. Like think
at least
Halloween.
It wasn't unibrow. Something was happening in the middle, but they were like stick-ons,
like 4-inch long, huge eyebrows. Like they're that level. Yeah, so you can understand why this man would be famous for that level of eyebrow because they're still astounding. Anyway, he's the 46th.
What was his name again?
Asashio. Asashio, I'm not sure how to say it. Asashio, the 46th Yokozuna. I found out there had been 4 famous Asashios. It was a little confusing in the research.
Yeah, because that's a big old name. Asashio Taru, Asashio, yeah.
He's the 3rd, the guy with the eyebrows is the 3rd Asashio. And he's from the Takasago Bay, Takasago stable. Does that ring any bells for you?
Yeah, that's Konishki's.
It is. It is also the stable that treated us so well. Mm-hmm. It's the tea house that treated us so well when we were at.
It was his spirit.
It was like okay, so you recognize the stable. It is Kanishki's stable. It's the tea house that we were the guest of. This is Kanishki's coach. This is the guy who coached Kanishki.
Until he passed away.
Which I did not realize.
Yeah,
right?
Because that was the tough thing about Konishiki is that he had to switch coaches when his coach, because this guy wrestled, he started in the 50s.
Well, I will tell you.
Yeah.
I will tell you. But I just want you to know the Heya first. All the wrestlers from this Heya have Asa at the beginning of their names. So Asanoyama is from this guy's stable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Asashoryu is from this guy's stable. He's like
Kiryu, the tiny one with the big hair.
Yeah, he's like the grandfather coach or the great-grandfather coach of many of these. So first of all, I just thought it was amazing because I did not realize when we were at the Kokugikan that there was any connection to Kanishiki at all. Right. It's just interesting that Eyebrow Man connects so directly to him. So this wrestler, Asashio Taro, was born in 1929. He died in 1988. He was born on the little group of islands called the Amami Islands, which if you were to go all the way down Japan, the islands of Japan, to sort of keep going through the ocean on your way to Okinawa, which is another island down on the tip. It's kind of these little islands that are in between Okinawa and Japan, the main islands. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he grew up there, and in 1948, as a teenager, he stowed away on a cargo ship to head to the main islands of Japan because this is like World War II area.
A stowaway.
Yeah. And so there were lots of strange things happening on this island. The U.S. was there, and it was just probably not very easy to live there. So he stowed away. He went to live with a relative near Osaka. He wrestled all of his life. He was wrestling up, interestingly, known as a gentle giant, known as being really easy on his training partners so that nobody else would get injured. I think maybe that probably changed as he went into professional sumo, because the stories that I've heard about training from Kanishiki does not seem like an easy environment.
No, he was a tough coach too.
Yeah. But
I mean, this picture that we saw there, I'm looking at it. He also has a very hairy chest.
Oh, he's all hair.
I mean, we could be talking about like his strength as a Yokozuna, but apparently we're talking about his body hair, which is truly remarkable.
I mean, it is interesting because I'm sure, well, let's just talk body hair for a second. I'm sure other wrestlers shave or wax.
We know that.
We know that. There's a really wonderful image of a Tommy Fuji that was up at the Kokugikon, and if you get really close, you can see where the hair is regrowing in on his body, like on his belly.
He's not shaving.
Someone is shaving him.
Attendant is shaving him.
Someone is shaving him.
A big job.
So... So it's not like these guys are truly hairless, all of them. It's an aesthetic choice.
Yes.
For some of them. This guy that I'm talking about was just like, to hell with shaving. This is who I am.
This is back in
I am what I am.
I am what I am.
So anyway, this guy got to the main island. In 1950, he joined the sumo clubs. In 1950, he reached the Juryo division, won the championship with a 14-1 record that got him an immediate promotion to the very top division in 1951. He earned 7 kimboshi, or gold stars, for defeating Yokozuna in his career. Early in his career, really, he was a tremendous pusher and thruster, also a Yotsu sumo wrestler, so he could go on the belt, he could push really super well, he was just a force to contend with. Asashio won 5 top division sumo tournaments, all but one of them in Osaka, so he did super well in Osaka. He must have loved the heat and humidity.
Well, that's where he was a stowaway too. He ended up in Osaka.
Yeah.
So he was like, this is my hometown.
It's my hometown.
It's my hometown.
Yeah, so he did well in his hometown. He won 3 tournaments there 3 years in a row, from 56 to 58. His first title, he was at Sekiwake. It was a 3-way playoff. He won promotion to Ozeki a sheer year later, after winning his second championship. Anyway, just goes on and on and on. He finally got to Yokozuna after he won a tournament, and then he got runners-up 2 tournaments in a row, and they finally said, okay, you're a Yokozuna. He was 30 years of age by that time. However, he was injured. He set out the next 3 tournaments. Following his Yokozuna debut, was only able to win 1 more tournament in 61, and then he announced his retirement in 62 at age 32. So he didn't last long at the rank of Yokozuna, but he did get there. But I want to tell you, he was featured in a film.
Yeah, I just read this.
Yeah, called The Three Treasure by Hiroshi Inagaki. And it was an incredibly popular film in Japan in 1959. It was an epic story of this great epic battle with a dragon. I have not watched this, but when I look at the movie poster, I picture like a Harryhausen type of film with like skeletons and dragons and lots of sword play. I mean, it looks amazing. Are you looking at the cover now?
No, I'm looking at some video of him, but
okay.
Yeah.
He was also featured, and this is kind of another one of my favorites. He was the first cover model on a manga magazine called the Weekly Shonen magazine. And it is a doozy because it features him. He's holding this, I don't know, like 7-year-old child, but he's not wearing anything on the top. So it features his hairy chest and his eyebrows and this very smiley young boy. It is hilarious to me. It just looks the epitome of something that you would see in the 60s or 70s.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like Burt Reynolds.
Yes.
It's called the Weekly Shonen.
Yeah.
But I'll find it.
Yeah. I'll put the link in the show notes if anyone wants to see it. After he retired from being Yokozuna, he became head coach of Takasago Stable in 71, where he coached Kanishiki. He kept those huge eyebrows never changing them. They were amazing. They grayed in through his life, but they were nice and thick and robust his entire life. It's the one thing you can pick out. Like in any picture of him, you could be like, oh, that's that guy. That's a bushy eyebrow guy. That's Asashio.
Yep,
right?
I see the picture.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a one hairy dude.
Yeah. He died of a stroke in 88 at age 58.
Wow,
way too young.
Way too young.
After his death, his wife and her family ran a chanko restaurant called the Sumo Tea House, Yonekawa, in Nagano. His son went on to work as a Fuji TV producer. But he was a big, tall, thin, hairy, big eyebrow Yokozuna.
Yeah, there's a little video of him on Wikipedia, and you can see him wrestling, and he is rather thin.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the days where they didn't have their hands on the ground before they fought, so it was just like two guys just running head on at each other.
Yeah.
But he looks remarkably skinny, tall and skinny.
Yeah, 6'2", 300 pounds, I think. What's super fascinating...
At least two of it is all hair.
But what I find fascinating... There's two things I find so well, three things. Hair being the big one. That's why he's initially fascinating to me. But two, if you look at this man's career, when he started his career in the early 1950s, there were only 3 bashos per year.
Right.
Spring, summer, and autumn. That was the beginning of his career in Makuuchi. Just 3 tournaments a year. By the mid-50s, there were 4 bashos per year. And at the end of his career, 57 through 63, is when they finally went to 6 bashos a year. So he went from 3 bashos to 6 bashos per year as a professional sumo wrestler in Yokozuna. That's also when his injuries caught up with him, was once they went to the 6 basho per year calendar.
Right.
But as a head coach, here's the other thing that's really compelling about him. He was instrumental in training Japan's first foreign wrestlers to attain high rank. Kanishiki came from that stable.
Right.
Asashio came from that stable. He really helped to popularize sumo internationally. He was kind of like one of the people way back right at the beginnings of opening sumo up to people outside of Japan. So I just think it's fascinating out of that whole wall of Yokozuna, because of a hair thing, that's the person that I'm going to look up that guy and find out more about him. And he's the guy that really was a part of unlocking the door for international sumo wrestlers and then international sumo fans.
Yeah. Maybe his looks from the very beginning were just intriguing enough that he's like, I'm not going to lose these eyebrows. They give me attention.
That's right.
And it works because you and I were like, whoa, we got to know more about this guy.
Yeah. There is a commemorative statue.
Grabs your attention.
Yep. In his commemorative statue that sits on the Amani Islands, where he was born, right? There is a big statue of him, and it does feature huge eyebrows, which I was really glad to see that they put that in the statue.
Yes.
So there you go. A little bit about Asashio III.
Now there's like 5, 6. There's a bunch of Asashios.
There's at least 4 that I know of. The 4th one is very famous too. You often see him around, and he's all over the media. So when you look this guy up, you have to be very careful. Sometimes the 2 Asashios are even pictured together in the same photograph, which makes it really confusing. But he's the 3rd. Just look for the eyebrows. Asashio. Yeah, the 3rd. That's what I have to share for you. Hopefully you found that as interesting as I did. I think next week we're going to be talking about high schools. Feeder sumo schools next week. That sounds really weird.
Sumo feeder schools. Almost as difficult to say as Irish wristwatch.
Yeah.
Where do
these guys go to school that gets them prepared for sumo in the future?
Yeah.
And we have some favorites that we are going to just do a little bit of research on before next week. So get ready for fun sumo high schools.
Yeah. Till next week, I'm Leslie.
Laurie, see you later. Bye.
Bye.